And we are live. Welcome to the Political Orphans. My name is Nico Lagan, and I am your in-house conservative. To my left, Rob Ambrose, our token lefty, and together we review what's going on in the news. Our goal is simple. We want to show you that it's possible for a lefty and a righty to get along. And if we don't agree, you know what we do? We have a civil conversation like two human beings. Because never forget, common sense has no political affiliations. What's going on, man?
What's going on? What's going on, my dude? So for the audience members here, Nico, it looks like he's just in a car. He literally is. He's doing his traveling back to Canada. So I think this shows his commitment to the show, that even while traveling cross country, he's pulling over to make sure you guys don't miss an episode.
Yeah, South Carolina, man. We got to South Carolina this morning, just outside Lafayette. If I'm not mistaken, this is where we are. So I'm in the truck, my little studio set up on my lap. And hopefully the connection is good enough, man.
I think it's good enough. It goes here and there, slightly choppy, but overall it's fine. And your audio is perfect. So there's no
I actually have my microphone, my actual studio microphone on my lap right now on a tripod. So
well, it shows your commitment to the show for sure.
Yeah, looks man.
Looks like you got a pretty good lineup.
I believe in it, man.
Yep, I agree.
I had my pregnant wife drive so that I can do some research on my laptop. So
she's a keeper.
So we got to. Yeah, well, I think it's too late either way.
Yeah,
I think no matter what,
literally keeper. You have a choice anymore.
Yeah, she's made her choice already. I think it's a bit too late. I'm not saying she doesn't regret it sometimes, but it is what it is, right?
Yeah, you guys are stuck.
Yeah, no, agreed. I agree, man. So I don't know if you've been following the news, but there's been some very interesting developments. We got an update from the SignalGate.
Yep.
Because they're literally throwing somebody under the bus, it seems like.
You knew it had to come.
I think agreed. But the more I think about it, the more I think Jason yesterday was right.
About
in what he was saying, that there's a coordinated effort here. Like, it seems that it's whoops, sorry, not sorry type of deal. Like, we made a mistake, but not really.
Yeah, a little bit of fat-fingered, accident, but not really, kind of accidentally on purpose, I think it was the words that he used. Tony G, how's it going, brother? And it looks like Nico is stuck there, but so we're just going to go ahead and play this first video. This is the update to the Mahmoud Khalil case. If you remember, he's the guy who was at Columbia University, caused a big uproar there maybe a week or two ago when he was arrested. It was, now he's being probably deported. His green card's been revoked. And it was sort of a big uproar on the left because they thought they were arguing it was a free speech issue, which is kind of interesting to see the left all of a sudden now care about free speech when it benefits them or benefits their arguments. However, what we will see is there's more to that. I think Marco Rubio said there's more to come. And so this looks like that is more to come. And we're just going to... hold on here. It seems like it is quite slow. Oh no. All right. Hold on. Looks like Nico is back. All right, guys. I apologize for this. I am working furiously behind the scenes here to get Nico back and then get those videos played. This is just this week. Like I said, Nico's in the middle of a move back to Canada, sort of a big thing for his family. So not a whole lot that, we appreciate you guys bearing with us on this. And if you will continue to bear with us and give us just 1 second, I will bring up the videos that Nico had loaded. See, the tricky thing is Nico's the one who puts all this together. So when he shits the bed and he drops out, it's a little bit difficult. So here's the video, the first one that we're going to see here. I do have that loaded up. Sorry about that. Share that screen right there. So this is, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. Well, I guess I am. Rumeysa Ozturk, a student of Tufts University, and this is her being detained by ICE agents yesterday.
I'll show you everything. Okay, cool. Yep. You're fine.
Where the police? Where the police?
Yeah, you don't look like it. Why are you hiding your faces? Why are you hiding your faces? Yep. I take everything. Yep, I'm gonna
Actually, it's that. Here's a better one. This one has it's taken by a student outside his dorm room. So again, this is happening at Tufts University, and if you are familiar with the Mahmoud Khalil case, you'll see that there's kind of some similarities.
You guys covering your faces? You want to take those masks off? Is this a kidnapping?
Fucking guy.
Yeah, you don't look like it. Why are you hiding your faces? Why are you hiding your faces? Can I see some faces here? How do I know this is the police? Seems like bullshit to me. Certainly looks like it.
So they're just dragging her away.
Bit of a kidnapping going on here?
Yeah, it's a bad video though. I've seen that one this morning. It's just
Was there a different one?
A regular white. Oh yeah, there was way better ones than this one. It's just that this guy is just yapping his mouth off. I always love the liberal people complaining about this when for years they protested in the middle of the street with masks on, but when ICE arrests someone, how dare you have a mask on? Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Yeah,
people
yeah,
are
that's funny.
hypocritical. But yeah, if you
I mean,
if you go in the folder, I uploaded. If you go on the Google
Yeah,
Drive that we have shared,
I'm on it right now.
and you look at the videos for today, like I should have dropped a bunch of videos out there. I'm just trying to load my list that I had here. So if you look, there should be one called there should be one called
Is it reels or full episodes?
Rumeysa. Oh no, it's in the full episodes. You go on the folder for today.
Okay.
For March 27th.
Yeah.
And you'll see one that's called Rumeysa Ozturk.
Okay.
Arrested.
Okay.
That's the one.
Yep. Okay, I got them all here now.
This one. Yeah.
So
if you want to upload
start with that one. Yep.
Yeah, I'll tell you which one to play. I apologize. There's something that came right next to me, a massive truck, completely removed my 5G, so I couldn't. I got kicked off.
No
Beautiful. Yeah,
no
you were in a truck.
That's all right. I couldn't find that. I couldn't find that folder, so I was like, "Fuck!" So I'm searching X. I'm like, "Okay, this should work." But now that I see them all in the folder, we'll be perfect from now on, guys.
Yeah, I saw the video you were showing. It was just a guy talking about what was going on with no context to it. But the one I sent you, the one you should have there has context. Almost like it actually explains who's that woman, why is she getting pulled over or arrested. Sorry.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so I got them, and again, from now on, I got the rest, so it'll be a lot smoother. All right, let's start with this.
Snatch people right off the streets for political speech. The latest, most chilling example happened yesterday outside Boston, when a PhD student and Fulbright scholar at Tufts University, in this country on a student visa from Turkey, totally legal, obviously, was taken off a residential street in Somerville, Massachusetts at 5:15 p.m. yesterday. Rumeysa Ozturk had just left her apartment when she's approached by a guy in a dark hoodie and hat who then grabs her hands. You can see and hear how upset and scared she is as an officer finally pulls out a badge and appears to identify himself as law enforcement. She is quickly surrounded by
I mean, I'm just stop it there for one quick second. Like, it's funny how they always frame this, right? Like, it doesn't. I don't know enough about her, like the way that we really took a deep dive into Mahmoud Khalil. So I don't know what she did, blah, blah, blah. But the point is, who cares if she's scared? I assume most criminals are scared when they get arrested. Like, that's not, he's in a hoodie. Yes, he's a plainclothes officer. Like, the only question is he a real officer? Is he actually an ICE agent? And I don't think anyone's disputing that. If he is, then what is the problem? I'm sure he has identification on his person.
You know, of course they do. And if I remember correctly, there's 6 of them. So it's not just one person, right? There's 6 of those agents there. But the thing I always find hypocritical is that Obama is one of the persons that deported the most illegal immigrants or immigrants,
chief, right?
And
that's what they call them.
And yet, you think they came in with just from afar, hey, madam, hey, it's ICE here. No, they want to arrest you. They want to make sure you don't run away. So what are they supposed to do? Like send you an email prior to it? This is the hypocrite. Like, we tend to be so hypocrite. No, hold on. This is how you arrest people. You show up. You don't give them a chance to leave. You grab them. And guess what? That's exactly what they did. I don't see anything wrong with what they did. Nothing wrong at all.
Well, no, not on the procedures. Like I said, I don't know enough. And Jason here says, most criminals, what do you mean? What crime did you commit? No, Jason. And that's why I preface that with, I don't know enough about this case. I'm just saying the fact that she was scared is completely irrelevant. I've no basis for knowing if this is a legit thing. I assume that will come out. And of course, if it is a illegitimate arrest, I would be opposed to that as much as I would any other illegitimate arrest. My point is the fact that she is, her personal feelings about this is entirely relevant. What's relevant is the fact of the case. And I guess we're going to find out about that.
You'll see what it is. Yeah, you'll see the video at the end. We'll talk about what ICE is accusing her of. And it's not as bad as Mahmoud Khalil, if you ask me. It's not as bad. But at the same time, she is on a student visa. So she doesn't even have a green card. But you'll see. You know what? Play the video. I won't ruin the video. It will say why she got arrested.
And also, Jason did not read her rights. By parents did not tell her what she's being charged with. And you're right. I mean, if she's being charged with a crime and that's what they did, then that's against the law. But that will be an excellent reason for her lawyers to get her out of this, if that's the case. I actually don't know if you're being detained by ICE because your green card was revoked. I don't know if the same laws, like if your Miranda rights need to be read or whatnot. But we'll keep watching.
She's not American. Can we let's agree on this? This is why I put it at the title on the bottom. She's a Turkish national here on a student visa. So she's not an American. And as far as I know, ICE does not need to read you your rights the way you would if you were a citizen getting arrested. Those are two different things.
Yeah,
I'm going to make sure right now, but I do not believe they're the same at all.
Yeah. And I mean, I think Jason's just going to go, I use the word criminal. I'm not saying she is a criminal. I'm just saying, like, typically when any authority, cop or whatever, law enforcement arrests or detains someone, they're going to probably show some amount of fear. My only point is that point is irrelevant. If she was being illegally detained, that is relevant. And I guess we'll find out.
Half a dozen, cops.
You know what? Hold on. Just put it on pause for a second here.
Covering their
So it says here, no ICE officers are not required to read you your Miranda rights during immigration arrests because these proceedings are considered civil, not criminal, and therefore the Miranda warnings are not required, are only required for criminal interrogations. So basically, she's not, if you called her a criminal, or I did, I was incorrect, or you were incorrect, she's not a criminal. But it seems that ICE does not need to let you know about your rights if it's about deportation. And in this case, obviously, that's what it is.
Jason, so because they don't have to read her rights, incorrect, by the way, that makes it just. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying it's just. I'm just not saying it's immediately unjust. I'm saying I don't have enough information to make a call. But are you sure that you do? Now, if you do, like, let me know. I don't know the specifics. I don't know exactly what this is. Like, I'm not being snarky. Keep us informed. You know, give me what you got.
But what is he complaining about? The fact that she didn't.
The fact that she's being detained is not. You cannot make any call unless you know the specifics of the case, because there are some scenarios where it's perfectly valid for her to be detained, and others where it would not be. So really, we're trying to figure out where this case lies under.
Her faces with masks. They take her cell phone. They physically remove her backpack. She is then handcuffed as a bystander films and asks how anyone is supposed to know
arrested.
These people are police.
Like, come on.
Yeah. He's covering your faces.
He's like, as far as anyone knows, these people police. But yeah, it doesn't really matter what bystanders think, though. Like ICE officers, as long as they are working within the law, what people around them think is utterly irrelevant. And again, are they working within the law? If there's an argument that they're not, I'm certainly open to that. But we'll see.
You want to take those masks off?
Yeah, that's part of the video that was playing earlier.
Is this a kidnapping? Yeah, you don't look like it. Why are you hiding your faces? Why are you hiding your faces?
The masked police lead the terrified woman to their unmarked vehicles and drive off. Now, if all that were not chilling enough, an attorney for Ozturk released a statement earlier today saying, in part, "We are unaware of her whereabouts and have not been able to contact her. No charges have been filed against her to date that we are aware of." Last night, a district court judge ordered that the young woman not be moved.
I'm just going to pause a sec, because I do want to just take Jason's question here. He says they do not have to read her rights if ICE is taking her on suspicion of her legal status. We already know she's here legally. The whole she's not American, so fuck it is unacceptable. I would 100% agree that that is unacceptable. I mean, if that's what we're doing, I don't think I am. I mean, Nico can speak for himself. It's not that I don't think anyone's saying because she's not American, fuck it. We are just stating factually because she is not American, she is subject to certain things that Americans are not. And that's the context we have to see here. I mean,
and
she's
the
here legally.
context being, you know what? It's not coming right away, but the context being that she is being accused of participating in Hamas protests, in support of Hamas protests. And as per ICE, ICE can legally enforce U.S. immigration laws, which includes identifying, arresting, and detaining individuals who may be subject to deportation, as well as investigating and prosecuting immigration-related crimes. And in this case, if she's being accused of being part of a support to Hamas, which the U.S. sees Hamas as a terrorist organization, she's a student on a student visa, she's fucked. Like at the end of the day, I get what Jason is saying, because technically you don't want people to just get arrested and deported for no absolute reason. But if she indeed is part of Hamas, of supporting Hamas, guess what? That's on her. If she wasn't part of those protests, what's happening right now wouldn't be happening. It's the same thing as we said about Mahmoud Khalil. If the guy was not involved in those protests or did not get a leadership role in those protests, he wouldn't have been arrested. Again, I'm in the US right now as a Canadian visitor. You know, yesterday, this is a perfect example. I was thinking about that this morning. So yesterday when I was at McDonald's and they wanted me to leave or else they'd get me arrested. Do you understand? If I was here if I was a citizen, I would have started recording and I would have told you, bro, please tell me why you're kicking me out. I would have pushed it because I'm a citizen and I have freedom of speech. I'm able to say something about it. But because I am not, because I'm a visitor and I don't have much rights outside of being respectful of the US laws, you know what I did? I packed my shit and I left. This is the thing, and this is what those people, and when I say those people, I don't want to sound racist, but the people that are protesting in universities that are making a big fuss out of things that they don't literally control, is that really the type of people you want there? We've spoken about this so many times. Is that the type of people you want in your country? Or do you want people that are going to respect your laws? Because at the end of the day, if it is proven that she supports Hamas or she's been in protests in support of Hamas as a foreign individual, as somebody that's here on a student visa, guess what? She's fucked. She can easily be deported now.
Jason, so like where you say we already know she is here legally, not necessarily correct. She was here legally. The second they revoke her green card, she is no longer here legally. And like
it's
Nico
not a green card, student visa. Sorry, it's a student visa. Yeah.
Okay, but whatever document she has that leaves her to be legally, if that is legally revoked, she is no longer here legally. And I mean, I'm not. This is not the same as Mahmoud Khalil case. I saw enough in that case to believe that his deportation is justified. I'm not saying that is the case here. What I'm saying is, like, obviously I'm not gonna tell someone what to believe, but like I feel like it's just as incorrect to assume she did something wrong as it is to assume she did not. Like, the government's still going to have to prove that case, and if they can't prove that case, I'm not interested in if they just have suspicion of supporting Hamas. I don't think she should be deported, but I expect they're going to have to prove that in a court. I mean, this is due process. However, if you like that or not, I mean, this is how the system works. Now, if you don't like the system, by all means, advocate against it. But like, nothing that's going on here is illegal or anything like that. Tony,
at least it doesn't appear to be illegal right now, because as per what ICE is capable of doing, and as per what you'll see in this video, they have suspicion of her participating in pro-Hamas protests. That right there is enough to get yourself to get your status here as a visitor, as a student revoked.
Yeah. I mean,
It does
citizens
not
have,
sound good for her.
no, I mean, if that was a citizen, even though I don't agree with this, the things she's advocating for necessarily, I don't. Certainly, if she's advocating for Hamas, I do not agree with that. But even if she's a citizen, I saw this, I would say no, that's wrong, because it's against the law. You can't arrest a citizen for speech. But if she's here on a student visa, and that can be legally revoked, and it is, she's no longer here legally. Tony, why did the domestic terrorists hide their faces? Be thankful she wasn't getting arrested in her country of origin. Imagine her treatment in Turkey. She would be actually disappeared in Turkey. You might not see her again in Turkey. So, I mean, it kind of...
And the media wouldn't be reporting on it either. It wouldn't be all over the media either. It would just be, bye-bye, you're not there anymore.
It would be...
You know, I understand what Jason is saying, but I don't think you understand, bro, that there's a massive difference. And as someone that visits your country all the time, I'm fully aware that there are things I need to be careful about. There are things, I'm not a citizen. I'm not protected by your amendments at all. I'm fully aware of this. And again, yesterday being the best example, you asked me to leave. If I was an American, I was in Canada, I would have had a great video that went viral yesterday. But because I'm a visitor, I cannot get arrested. If I do anything, even if technically what I did yesterday was not illegal, they just asked me to leave, I just left. Technically, the cop could have showed up. I would have known how to explain. It would have been a done deal. I know how to deal with police officers. But at the same time, I'm a visitor. That restaurant did not want me there. I'm not going to argue to chance to just make it a possibility that I could be evicted, deported, and never be able to come back afterwards because of a stupidity. That's the point I'm trying to make when it comes to Mahmoud Khalil, and when it comes to her as well.
And so Jason, so he says, so you're here legally, they snatch her visa and then say you are not illegal. Listen to yourselves. But what we're saying is if her student visa was revoked, she is not any longer here legally. Like that's what I don't think. She was here legally until she wasn't. And once she is not, then she isn't. I mean, that's just like, Nico, you're here, you're in the United States legally, whatever document that allows you to be there in the States. Let's say at midnight last night, Trump saw our show yesterday and he didn't like how you treated the McDonald's workers. and they went through the process to revoke your, even if you don't even know that happened, you are no longer legal in the United States. That's how that works. I mean, what do you mean, Jason? I didn't make that up. Like, ICE can revoke student visas. Now, whether you agree with that or not.
In this case, they did. They did.
Whether you agree with that or not, then that's fine. But like, legal status is not some inherent thing that someone is born with. It is a document that the United States gives to you, and they can revoke it. And the second they revoke it, you are no longer legal. This is not the United States of Israel. This is the United States of America protesting how another country's government does their business is not illegal in the United States. But that's a straw man argument. Nobody's saying that. She's not being removed from the United States because she protests against Israel. The allegation, and I don't know if it's true or not. I want to be clear. I don't have a position on her, but hypothetically, if they can prove the allegation that she was supporting Hamas, then she's not being removed for protesting Israel. She's being removed for supporting a terrorist organization. No. Okay. So how do you know they revoked her visa? What's this? Yeah, for sure. I agree with you. If they did not revoke her visa, then she is still legal to be here. But I assume
I'm part of the video.
I am assuming.
I'm pretty sure it's part of it.
I'm assuming a certain amount of like due process has occurred. I think that. I mean, I feel like we're debating the legality of the detention, but I don't think that's in dispute. I think where the debate really should focus on, should the detention be legal? Should they have been allowed to remove her student visa? Prairie, how's it going? All right, we'll just continue watching this video.
Before you go with the video, what I find absolutely hilarious here is that you have two lefties arguing. I fucking love it. I gotta say, I absolutely love having you and Jason disagree on something, because you're literally disagreeing on, it's not even a technicality. It seems like a moral issue, but this is not a moral issue. If she supported Hamas, ICE can easily revoke her status. And I believe that in part of this video, it will explain that they did already. So you can continue the video if you want.
Okay. And Jason says, we're moving the goalposts here. We went from facts don't care about her feelings. Well, I mean, I never did. That's not, to hypothetical ifs. I mean, yeah, of course, but all we can talk about is hypothetical ifs because we don't know. Like, so hypothetically, if they revoked her student visa, she's not any longer here illegally. Now, you don't know that they didn't. Like, none of us know. So, I mean, we can agree on that. I agree with you if they didn't, but that doesn't mean the detention's not legal. It just means they can't deport her yet. I assume the detention in order to bring her to an immigration court in order to prove these facts. That's all well within the rights. Okay, yeah, we're going to continue here. Oh, shit.
Snap as an officer finally pulls out a badge and appears to identify himself as law enforcement. She is quickly surrounded by half a dozen, I guess, cops, all in street clothes, covering their faces with masks. They take her cell phone. They physically remove her backpack. She is then handcuffed as a bystander films and asks how anyone is supposed to know these people are police.
Is covering your faces.
He just said that he identified himself,
masks off?
and now he's like, "Oh, how would we know that they're police?" He literally identified himself. Like,
yeah.
This is why I chose this video, because this just shows you how the news outlet out there, the people that sell the journalist angle as we are just reporting the news and we hold the truth. They're basically just pandering to their audience, selling this. Bro, that was nothing. That was not out of... You think they would have been that polite with me if I was the one getting deported? I guarantee you I would have been tackled down. I wouldn't have been treated like a 120-pound woman at 230 pounds, right? Like, so we need to stop that pandering. Now, can we disagree that ICE had the rights to do that or not? We'll see. It will go in court. Obviously, there's already lawyers part of it. We'll see what happens. But
yeah,
man,
exactly.
the mainstream media, it's selling you like this was the most atrocious arrest ever made. How dare they take her cell phone?
Yeah, plain hoodies.
What?
Jason, sorry, Robert. I get it now. We were thinking out loud. Yeah, it's all right, all good, brother. I mean, like this is my position. I don't, this isn't like the Mahmoud Khalil case. I don't know enough about this to hold a position. I mean, it seems like a lot of the discussion that they're talking about on the show is based on just the nature of the arrest. And I mean,
yep,
there has to be a mechanism for ICE agents to detain people that they're going to make a charge against, or they're going to make an allegation against. Like, I just assume this is part of due process. Like, just if you're charged with a crime and they go to your house and arrest you, you go to court, you have a trial and you get found not guilty. That doesn't mean that the initial arrest was illegal. That, like, the detention is part of the due process. There has to be allowances for that. The fact that they took her cell phone and wore hoodies and she was upset about it is not persuasive, in my opinion, to say the arrest is wrong in and of itself.
And look at what Jason is saying. Basically, he's saying that as far as the arrest goes, this was not embarrassing to ICE. It was clean. Yeah. Hope they work it out. And this is my point, right? I did not see anything wrong with this arrest. It was actually very polite. I was imagining ICE being a lot more violent than that. But like I said, would they have been as gentle if it was me? Probably not. But at the same time, I don't see anything wrong with this. But this is why I chose a leftist like MSNBC's video, because they are making it sound like it is the worst arrest. Like, ooh, we're affecting her civil rights. Guess what? She got none in the U.S., unfortunately for her.
Well, I mean, she has some for sure, but yeah, just this detention does not.
No,
I don't believe takes them away. So yeah, Jason. Yeah, I mean, like we are on the same page. I mean, we probably.
I'm happy you guys made up.
Yeah,
I'm happy you guys made up. Oh, it's so cute. I'm so happy.
I'm not saying this is definitely right. My opinion on if it's right or wrong will depend on the facts that I assume are going to come out even in this video, but just more investigation is needed.
Is this a kidnapping?
Oh, here we go again.
This guy.
Yeah, you don't look like it. Why are you hiding your faces? Why are you hiding your faces?
The mass police lead the terrified woman to their unmarked vehicles and drive off. Now, if all that were not chilling enough, an attorney for Ozturk released a statement earlier.
Jesus.
Like, if she's terrified, it's not relevant. You know, it's not at all relevant. Like, I'm sure, like,
it's not fun being arrested. You know what? It's not fun. It really
she
isn't
very
fun.
well, even if she was a legitimate terrorist, she could have masterminded 9/11, and she'd probably still be terrified. Like, she's probably especially terrified. I mean, it's just. I sort of resent the emotional bent on it. It's very clearly trying to play to emotions when this really should be a fact-based case. What did she do? What are the allegations?
That's why I chose it. That's why I chose it, bro. I'm happy to see you react like that, though.
And if I see the allegation, I'm like, this is it. Then I'll say this is bullshit. This should not have been done. I'm not really interested in the Trump administration or ICE going on a terror mission, just trying to strike fear in the heart of every single student and keep them in their place. But I think there's two things can be true. You don't want that to happen, but you do also recognize that there are some people who are here expressly to cause division and social unrest and push genuinely problematic ideologies. And there has to be a mechanism to identify and remove these people. So there's a ton of space in between this bitch got what she deserves and this is an egregious crime, like a ton of space.
There needs to be consequences, right? I think this is the part where you and I are going to agree on. They shouldn't go on a banter where everybody's scared shitless of going to the U.S. because they might get arrested for
sure
smoking a cigar in a parking lot that doesn't smell as good as they want it to.
Doing a show in a McDonald's, doing a podcast at McDonald's.
but at the same time, it's been a fucking free-for-all for years in both the U.S. and Canada, where people are here on just a visa and they're just like, fuck it, I'm gonna start protesting stuff that I agree with. You know what? Maybe you should just do what you're here to. Because at the end of the day, we've said it so many times, but I'm gonna repeat it again. Is it the type of people that you want? Is the type of people that you want coming on a student visa and always protesting everything? Or would you just have people that are going to go to school, do their thing, and maybe obtain a green card at one point? You know what I'm saying? Like, what type of people do you want to let in? And if they don't fit what you want as your population, don't accept them or deport them in this case. Like, agreed.
And that's perfectly fine. Jason says, of course there are feelings when so-called facts are not proven facts. Again, going off of given circumstances that are not given is fruit from a poisonous tree. And I mean, Jason, I agree with you, but I feel like you're not even listening to your own advice. Like, I'm not saying this was right because I'm not assuming that the government proved its case, but you are assuming that they have not. Like, you don't know what the given facts are either. You're assuming that this is wrong when it very well could be. So, like, to me, as far as what we know right now, the only correct position is we don't know enough to have a firm opinion one way or the other. And
hold on, we don't hold the truth, but we don't hold the truth. We just have opinions. We're looking at what's going on. I don't see a problem with what's happening. The court is going to decide if she deserves to get deported or not. She has lawyers involved. Obviously, it's going to go to court. But at the same time, we're still allowed to have an opinion, even if we don't know all the facts. That's what people do every single day. And that's why I'm not a reporter. I'm not a journalist. I'm a commentator. I comment on this shit. That's what I do, right?
Well, yeah, and just based on what we, like, if you just go by the facts we do know, and really all we know is a woman was detained by ICE. That's not enough to say there was wrongdoing here, because there are scenarios where she could absolutely deserve to be detained and deported, and there are scenarios where they're not, and we don't know either way. If you go back to the analogy of being arrested for a crime you didn't commit, and let's say you get found not guilty at your trial, that doesn't mean you can't go back and sue the government for your arrest in the first place, because the detention is part of the due process. And this is a detention that is part of the due process. They still have to prove a case in front of an immigration judge. I suspect, like you said, Nico, I think people are sick of what they appears to be a free-for-all. And I think the Trump administration is just going to make examples. And I hope I really hope that they are choosing the right people to make examples of, because it's going to backfire tremendously if they don't. But that is
Well
the process that we're in right now. I believe, from what I know right now, what the facts that I know about Mahmoud Khalil, I believe that he is one of the right ones to make an example of. So now we move to this case. I don't know enough. I don't, and I'm going to withhold judgment. All I'm saying is what we know right now. The fact that she's been detained is not any evidence that this is wrong yet.
They saying in part, we are unaware of her whereabouts and have not been able to contact her. No charges have been filed.
Hold on. Jason, so he says, you guys are making an assumption. You're assuming ICE would not pick her up if she did nothing wrong. Well, yeah, but like in society, we have to grant some benefit of the doubt to authorities until proven otherwise. By that logic, no one could ever be arrested, because you could be like, well, you're just assuming they committed that crime. Well, yes, the government, they still have to prove their case. But by your logic, no one would ever be detained or arrested for anything ever. And obviously, you can't run a society like that.
I fucking love it. I love you guys bantering at each
that we are aware of. Last night, a district court judge ordered that the young woman not be moved out of Massachusetts without first providing advance notice.
And again, Jason, I'm not assuming this is wrong. In this country, the USA, she is innocent until proven guilty. Exactly. And as far as I'm concerned, she is still innocent, even in the eyes of ICE. The detention, just like an arrest, does not have any bearing on the fact that she's not considered innocent. You cannot have due process without the initial detention. Like it's just the way the system works. It's like your beef is with the very fundamental nature of the justice system. And if that's a valid beef too, but there's not really a place for that in this debate.
And then late this afternoon, we finally got an idea of where she is. According to the Immigrations and Customs Enforcement detainee locator, she is currently being held in the South Louisiana ICE Processing Center. That's nearly 2,000 miles from where she was snatched off the street just 27 hours ago. Today, the Department of Homeland Security said in a statement that investigations found odd.
So just because you guys are bantering and I have my cell phone closed, so I get to do some research.
Okay.
It's saying that while everyone is presumed innocent until proven guilty in a criminal trial, and as we said earlier, this is not a criminal trial because it has to do with immigration, this principle doesn't always apply to immigration matters, particularly students on F1 visas, where a conviction can lead to visa revocation and potentially deportation, even if the student was found innocent in court. So it seems that what you told him, that he's pissed off at the way the system seems to be, but everything that I can find online is showing that ICE had the right to do what they did, that they did it properly. And not only that, but it's not a criminal case. This is an immigration case. And especially for students, it doesn't matter that it seems to say that it doesn't even matter that they're innocent or not, that they can still deport you. That's messed up. I did not know that, but I did well to leave the McDonald's yesterday, because it seems like I don't have to have a lot of, it seems that I don't have a lot of, privilege, that my privilege can be taken away pretty fucking easily.
White privilege card. Like, they probably thought you were Mexican. That's why you're dark skinned. You got that olive complected skin.
But you know what, Jason? Once again, we've spoken about this when we spoke about Mahmoud Khalil. They're not citizen. They don't have free speech. They're, as much as you say that
they do, but they have the right to not be criminalized for their speech. But that's not what this is. This isn't a criminal case.
No,
right?
but remember, we looked into this. They don't have they have free speech, but which means you don't have free speech. They're not citizens. So we need to stop thinking that those people are. And man, this sounds racist when I say those people. I mean to say those individuals right now that are getting arrested by ICE for participating in protests that became violent or supporting organizations that they're classified as terrorist organization in the US. This is what we need. We need to always go back to that. And as you said earlier, There's due process, and it seems that she's going through it. She hasn't been deported yet. She's not gone. But is she in a holding center somewhere in Louisiana with Mahmoud Khalil? Yeah, probably. Probably that's exactly where she is. But as far as we can see, this is due process, and it's been going on for years. So where was the outrage under Obama, considering that this has been going on forever? They're not citizens. We need to remember this. They're not citizens.
So, Jason, by what you just read, you are supporting my argument. If it is an immigration case, she has a visa, then this is arbitrary and just, unless the visa was revoked. And there's a process to revoke visas. Like, is there anything, like, let's just say, put it to the side. Let's say she was supporting Hamas. Okay, let's say that was proven. Do you still have an issue with this, or do you think it's valid that she be detained and deported? Like, let's say there's no doubt, for the sake of this argument, she says, I support Hamas. She says, yeah, I do. And I've done activities that seek to further their aims.
You're obviously talking to Jason, not me, right? Because you know my opinion on this already.
I'm talking to Jason. Khalil has a green card. He enjoys everything an American does until it's revoked. And there are processes that green cards can be revoked. And it sounds like he has contravened the rules which govern all green card holders. You know, you can invite someone to your home, but if the guy starts palming your wife's butt, you can then revoke that invitation from your home and you know, fucking jazz Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, jazz him out of your back door. That's well within your right. And America has.
I feel
the same
old
right.
now.
Yeah,
Thanks.
Thanks,
because I get the reference.
Yeah, America has the same right to, you know, again, and this is all assuming that they are obeying the due process laws. If they're not, I'm right there with you. I think everyone should be subjected to proper due process, but due process for a green card holder is different for due process for a citizen. All right, we'll just continue.
100%. You want to take Joe Stradamus as message, because he's basically saying welcome to post 9/11 America. Maybe, maybe not, but at the same time, we have to. I don't know that I agree with what you're saying, because let's not lie to each other here and agree that people on visas are taking advantage of it, especially students. Like, they're doing things that if I ran this country, I wouldn't be okay with. I really wouldn't be okay. There's no consequences. And the same is true in Canada. I've seen so many protests with my own eyes. And what they're singing, River to the Sea, you're a student here? No, bye-bye, bye-bye. I would never say this. And even, you know, wanting the death of people, I'm pretty sure that's not covered by free speech. So you got to be careful. There are limitations to free speech after all. But at the same time, is that the type of people you want in your country or not? This is always what it's going to come down to.
I mean, like, for Joe and for Jason, do you guys at least agree that there are some scenarios green card holders can, like, do you think if a green card holder advocates or does political activities to support a terrorist organization, let's say Hamas, do you believe that they should be deported? Because I mean, if you can't even agree on that, then we could almost just say, okay, like, we just agree to disagree on this debate, because we'll never be able to find common ground. But if you do agree on that, then the debate shifts to, okay, do these specific actions of these people meet that threshold? And that's, you know, that's a valid debate too. Jason, those are far-fetched scenarios based on the facts that go the other way. Well, how are they far-fetched? I mean, you don't have enough information to know. If they have facts that show that she is advocating for supporting Hamas, then it's not far-fetched at all. You know, if you it's, we don't know what the facts are going on. I mean, they have to. There's just no way anybody can have a firm opinion on this detention without knowing more facts, unless there are facts that I'm not aware of.
Now, Jason just seems to be wanting to confront everything you're going to say or I'm going to say. I don't know if you're in a bitchy mood today, Jason. Maybe you need another coffee or something, but you seem to forget who you're talking to here. I do know what river to the sea means. And if Israeli were the one, if Jewish people or Israeli people were the one in the street screaming this, I'd be the first one to tell, deport them. So it doesn't matter to me where they're from. I don't give a fuck where they're from. If you are in a different country where you are a visitor and not you are an immigrant and you're not a citizen, your rights are not the same as a citizen. I don't care where you're from. I hate people equally. Doesn't matter to me. I don't care. If you scream things like river to the sea, I don't care that you're pro-Palestine or that you're pro-Israel. Don't matter to me. Doesn't matter to me. This is not the type of shit that normal people scream in the street. You do not ask for exterminating a population because you don't like them. You don't get to do that. Plain and simple.
And I do appreciate the clarification here, just because I feel like with that, it kind of makes it a little clear sort of where everyone stands. Like it's perfectly valid for you not to think that chanting from the river to the sea is a problem. But like I do. I wouldn't want visitors to come here and chant that. So I mean, that's just one of those things where that's just a personal opinion. And we can just agree. And then it's just a matter of how many of there are like that agree with me versus how many are that agree with you. I suspect the majority is going to be more on my side. They don't want visitors to come here and chant, you know, implications of genocide. And that goes for anybody, you know, it has nothing to, I don't really have a dog in this fight. I don't really give a shit. Like I see the value in the, you know, there's geopolitical importance to the Middle East, Israel, Palestine issue. Personally, I think the correct one, the correct solution was a two-state solution that Arafat said no to back in the 90s when Bill Clinton at I think it was the Abraham Accords. I don't know. He negotiated a two-state solution in the early 90s at Camp David between Yasser Arafat and I believe Ariel Sharon, the Israeli prime minister. I don't remember, but that was a perfect solution, and he said no. But the point is,
we're debating stuff that we shouldn't be debating. I don't. I've said this so many times. I don't give a fuck what is happening overseas. It does not matter in my day-to-day life. As much as I don't want violence caused to anybody, as I can look at every single conflict out there and see two sides to the story, and they're both guilty of something. None of them are innocent.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Name me the war, I will show you two countries that done some bad shit. No questions about it. But right now, we're making something about race when it doesn't have to. It has nothing to do with race. We're talking about visitors coming to a foreign country and doing something that the government deems wrong. That's what it comes down to. They put themselves in that situation, just like I put myself in that situation yesterday at McDonald's. I chose to walk away because I did not want to risk losing my status here. There was nothing preventing them from not going to those protests. They're not stupid. We're talking about highly educated people here. We're not talking about morons. They knew exactly what they were participating in. I'm not saying that they were pro-Hamas, but at the same time, they were at those protests. They put themselves in a situation where ICE can look at them and say, you know what? We're going to arrest you and we're going to investigate further what your actual role was. And this is all it is right now. This is all we're seeing right now. They've been arrested. Will they respect due process or not? We'll see. But at the end of the day, if it wasn't for the fact that they were if they didn't show up to those protests, they wouldn't be here today. So they kind of shot themselves in the foot, if you ask me.
I mean, I agree with you 100%. I want to see due process. And if due process is not followed, then I'll be the first to push back against it. My point is there's nothing about that detention that inherently means due process was not followed. It may very well not have been, but the fact that she was detained is not in any way an indication in and of itself that due process was not followed. Just like the arrest of some guy on the side of the road is not an evidence that due process isn't being followed, even if he later gets found not guilty. Joe says, can't speak for Jason, but I resent the utterly arbitrary latitude the authorities now wield. I do agree with you. I don't necessarily agree that it's arbitrary. The facts of the case will determine whether it was arbitrary or not. If they can prove that she was out there supporting Hamas, then it is not arbitrary. And to a certain extent, this is just the pushback that's inevitable. You know, the Biden administration had no interest in any sort of common sense pushback against what was obviously destructive and divisive and often criminal protests by this group. So at some point, if you're just if you let one group free to run roughshod wherever they want, there is going to be a backlash. Society doesn't like that. Memorino, they allow that on the streets of Canada, though. Yeah, and they shouldn't.
We agree with that. Definitely agree on that.
The burden of proof is not for people to prove they did not do it. Agreed. But like that has nothing to do with the fact that she was detained. By your logic, no one could ever be arrested or detained for anything ever. They feel that they have enough to prove that she did this, and they are now in the process of doing that. If it comes out that they did not, then I will agree with you. This was wrong. Prairie says, I was just going to mention
fire today. You're on fire today, Rob. Jason brings the best out of you. I love it. Absolutely love it.
I love that lefty.
I don't even need to instigate at this point. I just chose great videos. That's it, and I can just say, go.
Yes,
have an
set
argument,
it off,
guys.
like little wind up. Prairie, I was just going to mention that crap in Vancouver where they stood there saying death to Canada as well.
See,
exactly.
That's my point.
If there was any visitors, students here, I would want every single one of them kicked the fuck out tomorrow. And I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit what their cause was. If you wish harm on the society that's hosting you, you do not belong here. And Joe, I'm still lefty enough to rather see 10 guilty men walk free than to see one innocent man punished. And I 1,000,000,000%. But again, the fact that she was detained is not in any way evidence that she is being wrongfully accused. If they can't prove their case and they still deport her, I'm right there. I think that's wrong, and that should be aggressively pushed back against. All I'm saying is the fact that she's detained is not in any way evidence that the detainment is unlawful. It doesn't make it lawful either. That's my point. I'm just saying we don't know enough, and at some point you have to at least give the authorities some benefit of the doubt, unless you just want to be opposed to every single thing ever. And I mean, that's not a serious position. There's no point in talking to somebody like that. And I don't think you guys are saying
because as far as we know, as we saw in the video, it was done properly. Even Jason agreed with that earlier, that the arrest was not over the top. There was nothing wrong with the way they arrested her. And as you've been saying, and I agree with you 100%, this is due process. She's been arrested. For all we know, she has lawyers. She's going to get her chance to fight to stay here. And that, as far as I know, is regular due process that I agree with. But at the end of the day, I'll never feel bad for her because she put herself in that situation. If she didn't partake in those protests in the first place, Hamas or not, she wouldn't have been on the radar of ICE. That's the point I'm trying to make. In the same ways, you'll never see me protest this shit when I'm down here, even if I agreed with it, which I don't. But let's say I did. I wouldn't, because why would I put myself at risk of being deported? I wouldn't. This is the point I'm trying to make. She has to take accountability for her action, same as Mahmoud Khalil.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's a great point. Joe Stradamus, back in the day, a grand jury was necessary to determine if the state of probable cause. Again, this isn't criminal. They don't need
exactly. Joe Stradamus, it's not criminal. It's immigration.
I assume they needed, even for this, I assume they needed a warrant of some sort. They didn't just throw throw up a list of immigrants and throw a dart at a dartboard and said, let's go get her. Like, they would have had to have some process to go to a judge and say, yes, go get her. And I assume this has all been done. If it has not, then her lawyers have a very clear defense in order to get her off. So she should be lucky.
And I would be against that. And let me be the first to say that if that's what they did, they literally have a board and they're throwing darts at it to see who they're arresting today. That's not right. You don't get to arrest anybody that you want just because you feel like arresting people. That's not what I'm saying. But there's a reason. There's a good reason why she's on the list of ICE, because she participated in protests that got a lot of attention. And unfortunately, she put a target on her back. Does she deserve it or not? We'll see. But she did put that target on her back herself. It wasn't out of thin air.
And like I said, I absolutely am withholding judgment. I don't know enough to know if what she's being accused of is she actually did. However, I'd be very surprised if they can't prove their case just because they're clearly looking to make examples, and there's enough. They're smart enough to understand if they just go around just arbitrarily grabbing people, that's going to push a huge backlash. There's going to be enough people who are actually a problem that they're going to naturally go for those people first. There's enough low-hanging fruit out there. We know that there are. So again, she's going to get her day in court, and I'm going to withhold judgment. But at the end of the day,
but Jason's
America,
comment here,
I believe, stick is it. This is not an argument against false dichotomies, Jason says. There is not one side or the other. There are layers. We agree. Supporting Hamas is disgusting, but legal. Not if you have a green card, it isn't. This has nothing to do with the U.S., but Israel. Yeah. I mean, if it's not that it is illegal and no one is charging Khalil Mahmoud. What they're doing is they legally took away his green card or his student visa because of activities that are prohibited. Once that happens, he is no longer legally here. And it's not that he's being punished per se. It's just a matter of you're not legal, get the fuck out.
It really seems that we don't have the agreement that people that are here as visitors, like green card, student visa, or visitors like me, don't have the same rights as Americans. They don't have free speech. They don't get to say whatever the fuck they want. As per what the government is concerned, Hamas is a terrorist organization. And if she is found to have supported them, you're fucked. Like, I don't see what the big deal is here. Like, I don't understand.
It's a weird hill to die on, for sure.
We're an hour, 10 minutes in, 3-4 minutes in the first video, and we're still arguing about something that is nonsensical.
Well, that said, that's what makes the show great, I think, is that we have all these different opinions. I think the audience probably likes this. Guys,
it blows my mind, though. Blows my mind.
If you do like the show here, please support us by liking, sharing, especially if you're on X. That's the best way to support us is to share the stream, maybe throw a comment or two in your own. And then engage, like Jason, like Jason is very, very clearly engaging today. But we love this stuff, guys. Even when there's disagreements, everyone knows we love Jason. And so, I think this is a great show to be able to do that place. As far as I don't agree with a lot of the stuff Jason's saying here, I fully understand he's acting in good faith. He genuinely believes what he thinks, just like I do. And we're arguing about the issues, right? And that's all you can ever do. Joe, just keeping you all honest, this case is what it is. I just fear authoritarianism in general, and the current regime is showing no reservations against exercising it. I completely agree. I'm under no illusions about Trump's nature. He is an authoritarian. That is his thing. So of course it's important to be vigilant about it. And I'm saying that as someone who is vigilant about it, but I'm looking at this. And because, a lot of it's going to depend on your worldview. I genuinely believe these kind of like far left extreme wingnuts, it's not about the cause. It's the way they go about it, the way they feel like they have the right to shut down society, to try to bend society to their will. I fundamentally believe that's a serious problem. And so obviously I'm going to come at it from a place that, I think these moves are generally good. I want to make sure they're getting the right people. And if it's proven that they are not the right people, then I will be right there with you. But I think, and I think a lot of people, I think a lot of Americans and Canadians and people all over the West are really sick of this shit. There's a right way and a wrong way to protest. And if you're engaged in doing things the wrong way and you're not a citizen and you're here as a guest, then I think it's entirely appropriate that you be made example of.
But why do you, because you called Trump authoritarian, you called him.
I think that's his nature. I think he wants.
But why? What has he done right now? No, but you can't just dish that out without explaining yourself. What has he done up to now to show this?
Well, I'm just talking about my perception of his entire personality. When we started this show, I said I'm going to judge Trump on what he does, and that's why I'm not going after him in this move, because I'm looking at it case by case. And so far, like this, I think, as far as I know, until I see evidence that this is wrong, like they can't prove their case, then I think this is just. But I do believe that he's authoritarian minded. I think he's very much a might makes right type guy. And I think if well, maybe authoritarian isn't the right way or the right word, but I believe him as a
because
guy
clearly you don't know the definition.
Who's
Because if you
willing
look
to
at the
use,
definition, he hasn't done anything to do that yet. At
Well,
least not yet.
Well, no, I didn't say he did. I just think that's his nature. I think I believe
But you said he was. You got to be careful.
No,
I'm just saying you got to be careful what you put out there.
Well, no, I think that's his nature.
But you
That's just my opinion. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm entitled to my opinion about what I believe Trump's personality is.
But at the same time, would you call out the Trudeau government and the Mark Carney, because they actually acted like dictators
You mean like
in what they did during COVID? 100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
100%.
I think that was authoritarian as well. I completely think
because I have not seen anything from Trump. But I haven't seen anything from Trump. I'm not saying that it's not possible. I'm not saying it's not going to happen in the future, because he's a politician and I don't like politicians. I don't care where you're from. I don't like politicians. I don't like those type of people and the personality that attracts people to be a politician. But at the same time, I can easily say that in Canada, we did have a government that went after its people by the definition of being a dictator.
Absolutely.
But I haven't not seen that in the US whatsoever.
Well, I like just the way he's dealing sort of with tariffs. Like, he is absolutely trying to bring us to our knees in a very aggressive, and you may say, like, there's, I mean, well, what is the actual definition of authoritarian? Maybe let's start with that. I mean, if you want to go down.
Political system characterized by political system characterized by the rejection of political plurality, the use of strong central power to preserve the political status quo, and reductions in democracy, separation of power, civil liberties, and the rule of law. Like, this is literally not what he's doing at all. Like, he's kind of a dick to other country. Is he? Sure. But you're not totalitarian with other countries, just your own.
I'm just talking about his personality. I think he's got authoritarian tendencies. I mean,
but he hasn't shown them yet. That's the point I'm trying to make. How so?
I'm just like, do you not ever just get impressions of people by watching them speak and how they behave?
Yeah, but I've been wrong before, bro. And I'm not supporting. And don't get me wrong.
I'm just telling you what I think.
I'm not saying that Trump has nothing wrong, right? I'm nowhere to say. I was very clear that I dislike politicians. I don't care if you're left, right, or center. I don't trust you from the get-go. So I'm there with you. But there's nothing. He's been called that for years. Yet I've seen more dictatorship behavior from Biden and Harris when they went after the Second Amendment or the First Amendment through Facebook. To me, I've seen more tendencies. They were not even tendencies. They were literal action from dictators in the US and in Canada, but it wasn't Trump, although he's the one that's always being called that. I just want to show the hypocrisy, because if he goes down that route, I think you know as well as I do that I will be calling him out for doing something wrong.
Sure,
it does not. I don't belong to any party, but at the same time, I just want to call bullshit, because up to now he hasn't done anything wrong outside of what the media accuses him of, and it's bullshit. It's just bullshit, because I've seen Canada treat me like a third world person. I did not have rights in Canada for years, but I haven't seen that in the US at all, outside of not under Trump, I mean.
But yeah, I mean, you can't disprove someone's just gut feel. Like, that's just, I'm not saying I'm right. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel that he's got authoritarian streaks in his personality. I think he's a strongman type. Just the fact that the people he praises. He loves fucking buddy over there in North Korea, Kim Jong-un. He loves strongmen. And maybe there's a big case that strongmen leaders are the right way to go. But I don't know, guys, what do you think? Do you think that Trump has authoritarian tendencies in his personality? If he were, I don't think he's one to work within, like, I don't think he's a consensus builder. I think he will happily use power in order to force his agenda through. And again, some people might say that's a good thing. Some people might say it's about time we had someone like that. I'm just telling you my perception of his personality. I don't think he particularly cares about being constrained by, the intricacies of the law.
But of course he is. He hasn't done anything right now that was against the law. As far as I know, at least in the public eye. I can't talk about what he's doing behind the scene, but it's just I'm looking at some of the comments like Jason, Nico was cool until you said Trump like Candyman 3 times. No, I'm tired of people being hypocrites. It doesn't matter. Even if you called bullshit even if you accused Obama of something he didn't do or showed up to now, I'd still defend Obama as much as I don't like him. It does not matter. It's just I'm being called names on a daily basis, and I will always stand up for people that get attacked for no reason. Arguable. But the point is that it could have been Biden. I would have still defended him. I would have defended Kamala Harris salad or word salad if it was. Yeah, that's fine.
My camera shit the bed. I'll be back in 2 seconds.
That's fine. I'll take some comments here. So just let me go back to some comments here. Memorino is saying Daddy Trump love. Yeah, we disagree on that one, but you're allowed to love Trump all you want. To me, he's just yet another politician that is gonna push policies I probably won't agree with, but at the same time, he was elected. So Jason's laughing. Joe Stradamus, Nico. Oh, hold on, let me put it on the screen here. Nico, you have not paid attention to the latest round of executive orders on voting rights just yesterday. If that's the case, enlighten me. Tell me what he has done that will take your voting rights away. I assume you're American, right, Joe? I thought you were, but confirm to me. Confirm to me. Jason, look, if you're comparing Trump compared to the DNC, he's a fucking freedom fighter. See, Jason, you and I don't know that I would say he's a freedom fighter, but I get your point. This is why I was calling out Rob on his comment, because I see what you're going with this, and I see more freedom under Trump than I did under the Democrats as a conservative.
So
leftists
every week
would disagree with you. Obviously, leftists would not agree with that, but under the current rule, as a conservative, the conservatives have more freedom right now than they did under Biden. But is it true that the leftists are probably not going to like it? Yeah, of course they won't. But at the same time, freedom fighter, I don't think that's the word I'd use to describe Trump, but I see what you're saying, man.
All right. So we'll finish, or was there another comment you wanted to?
Oh, no, but the video is, you'll have to, we were further down the road than that, though. Man, an hour, this is how much conversations we've been having on this. An hour, 20 minutes in. We're still 4 minutes. Oh, yeah. I absolutely love that we're capable of having those conversations, and yet we haven't called anybody names outside of me saying that Jason's probably in his periods and he needs another coffee, but I wouldn't talk to any other of our listeners.
We haven't made it personal, except for that time I made it personal.
But that's because it's Jason. I wouldn't say that to other people. It's just that Jason normally is not a little bitch and he can take it. Now it seems that today he might be different because he's getting pissed off by your comments and mine. We're kind of tagging on this one, but
it's hard to have some of these debates without getting any emotional. But I think as long as you just sort of remind yourself to check yourself a little bit, step back. We know we all love each other here. We don't hate each other. Then yeah,
and see, Jason's last comment makes sense.
He hate me because he hate me because he ain't me. Yeah, no doubt.
You
all
get
right,
the
so let's finish this video.
You get the reference. It's a Seth Rogen. It's a Seth Rogen movie. No, I'm pretty sure it's a Seth Rogen movie when he goes to North Korea. It's the main character. They hate me because they ain't me. Yeah, exactly. It's with James Franco and Seth Rogen. Yeah. They go to interview the Kim Jong-un. Yes.
Yeah. That's actually a really funny movie. I like that. Yeah, and he becomes like best buddies with him. James Franco.
Yeah, he's honey potting him.
where
He's-
Eminem's in it. He's like, yeah, I'm
Yeah,
gay.
he says he's gay. Yeah, he comes out as gay.
Oh my
Yes,
God.
that's
Did you guys
the
get
one.
that?
Yep, that's the one.
All right.
We finally got an idea of where she is. According to the Immigrations and Customs Enforcement detainee locator, she is currently being held in the South Louisiana ICE Processing Center. That's nearly 2,000 miles from where she was snatched off the street just 27 hours ago. Today, the Department of Homeland Security said in a statement that investigations found Ozturk engaged in activities in support of Hamas. But again, she's not charged with any crime. The activities she is accused of seem to be that she co-wrote an editorial in the Tufts School newspaper that was published a year ago today, writing, quote, "We affirm the equal dignity and humanity of all people," specifically referencing Palestinians.
Okay, so I'll be surprised what else is in that article. Maybe tomorrow we'll or Monday on Monday's show we'll actually dissect that, because at least now we have a little bit of the evidence that they're going off of. I suspect there might be some things in there that Chris is leaving out, but we'll see.
Going on to quote the author James Baldwin and challenging the university president to, quote, "acknowledge the Palestinian genocide and embrace efforts by students to evaluate diverse and sometimes contradictory ideas and opinions." The Trump.
Look, if that's all she did, and I'll be quite surprised if that's all it is, but I would agree. Then this isn't right. And I shouldn't say anything about Hamas. I suspect there's probably some things in that article that Chris Hayes didn't discuss. But
no, I'm not saying there is, but
yeah, but the data, the facts will come out of the case. Again, if it's just about, you got to separate what we're talking about. No, I don't advocating for the Palestinian people in and of itself. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you're going to start supporting terrorist organizations, and I'm not saying she did, however, if she did, then that's completely different. So we will see. We'll definitely stay on top of this.
You want to take some of the comments, like Jay?
Yeah.
Go back to Jason, because my reference was wrong, but I'm a white guy, so of course I'm referencing white.
It came from
White People movie, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I remember Higher Learning. Oh wow.
Came from Higher
Oh
Learning,
yeah, of course.
see,
this is the difference. That isn't there a shooting at the end of Higher Learning where there's a racist guy like me that shows up on top of a rooftop and starts shooting people at the university? Is that what you're trying to say, Jason? Is that where your mind is? Where your mind goes when you hear me talk? Fucking Jason.
Joe Stradamus, I'm actually more inclined to compare the DNC to Trump, to be fair. Yeah, I mean, what do you
take a second comment? Take a second comment.
Oh, okay. They are beholden to the same money. Yeah, okay, for sure. Uniparty, right? Like that's there's no doubt about that. I think you're going to see a lot of the same names. There's no, the people giving money to these politicians, they don't give a shit about politics. They certainly don't give a shit about culture wars. That's why they will give money equally. They want us fighting. They want us each fighting each other so they can pick our pockets. I mean, on that we can agree.
That's why I don't like politicians, man. That's exactly why I don't really care the banner that you're under. My best interest is not your focus. Let's be honest here.
Welcome to Political Orphans AOL chat.
AOL? Jason, Jesus, you're old.
But to them, that translates to Hamas supporters. But Jason, come on, you're not like, nobody actually thinks that's the only thing that they have, right? Of course, Chris Hayes is going to take the obvious thing. I'm not saying she's a Hamas supporter. I'm saying the fact that Chris Hayes only quoted her in a non-offensive piece does not mean that she is not. I'm just saying, if hypothetically that's all that there is, then I'm agreeing with you.
There's a problem. There's a problem.
Yeah,
there's a problem.
No, it was your impulse to say this is what he's saying. No, I was just, we create content here. We comment. We're commentarians. I have no doubt that there's much more to it than that. And if there is, then shame on me, and I'll be right there with you. I mean, that's how it works, right? Like you don't know. It seems like you are admonishing me for jumping to conclusions, which I'm actually not, while you yourself are jumping to conclusions. You're assuming she didn't do anything. I'm not assuming she did. I'm saying, let's play it out. Let's see what she said. All we were talking about earlier is the very fact that she was detained has no bearing on if there was anything wrong was done, because the detention itself is part of the due process system.
And not only that, but just to kind of go back to the video itself, you could tell just by the way he was talking, this was not about reporting facts. Like his video was pandering to his crowd. So is it far-fetched to say that maybe he left out bad parts? I'm not saying that those bad parts exist.
He's not going to say those,
but
right?
But is it hard to believe that he might have? Really?
Yeah.
Like, seriously? So
as
we'll
we
see.
do this, I'm gonna try to, while we're doing this, I'm gonna try to like do some searching to see. The only reason I said that was to give a sort of olive branch to say, hypothetically, if this is all that they have, then I would agree that's not there. There's nothing there, and they shouldn't have done this. But I mean, it's the epitome of naivete to think that's all that they have. And if they do, by all means, I'm with you. I'm right there with you. And we're going to stay on top of this.
So which one do you want to go next? Because obviously we're not going through all the videos I had planned today.
So we got...
So you got the choices of giving an update about Hot Wheels. We can actually talk about
Alex Wong. Who's
SignalGate.
Yeah, let's do that.
That's SignalGate. So we can do SignalGate, or we can do Hot Wheels. This is his name now, huh? Hot Wheels is how I'm going to call. I fucking love it. Governor Hot Wheels. This is a great. I hope he embraces it, has t-shirt mates. But yeah. Which one do you want? Do you want Hot Wheels? Well, there's a few.
What was the Cash Patel thing?
Well, this is related to Signal. This is related to the SignalGate. So either SignalGate, either Hot Wheels. And I'd like to do a last one on Mark Carney, because I would love to kind of bring a conspiracy theory segment every now and then. And that is a good one right there. That is because something happened yesterday and I'm like, hey, perfect time for me to bring a little conspiracy theory. So choose one of the two. You can choose.
Let's do Cash Patel. I mean, I do like the Hot Wheels thing.
No,
but at the end of
it's
the day,
not. But it's not Cash Patel. So Cash Patel is just part of it.
Yep,
you want to go to the video. Hold on, give me a second. I'm just going to bring it up here. Yeah. So you want Alex Wong. So just to put a bit of context to this, basically there's there's somebody by the name of Alex Wong that's been brought into the light as per the person that would have not only created that Signal group, but that would have added Jeffrey Goldberg, the journalist, to the thread. So I found this interesting because it was a bit what Jason was saying yesterday. Like, it's a mistake, but not really. It's a mistake that was meant to be on purpose.
Yeah.
More than that, as in, I'm really not sorry because it was done on purpose. But your favorite right-winger, Laura Loomer, she came up with I'm just fucking with you.
Yeah.
But she came out yesterday with a bunch of pictures explaining what happened, and it kind of falls into line with what Jason was talking about, where it seems like there was somebody part of that group that did it on purpose, knowing that it would kind of look bad on Trump. So I found a video by a guy, I believe his last name is Medina. He's not a massive content creator by any stretch, but his video was actually solid. So I'm just trying to see, it would be by who is Alex Wong. I just wanted to put a bit of context. He made put a video together where he talks about what Laura Loomer found. And if this is indeed true, Trump needs to do a better job at vetting the people that are around him, because this probably won't be the last time something like this happens to him. So go ahead.
Okay.
You got a video?
That it wasn't like compromising. This is still not good. This is still not good, and it's unacceptable. And like, how does this happen? Does Pete Hegseth need to resign? I don't think so, because this really wasn't on him. He is the leader, but the person who started this group chat was the staffer of Mike Waltz.
On the like screenshot, it says,
"Yep."
Given that it.
Okay, so here's a video about Alex.
You see his name at the bottom. Like, you want to give him credit, because I always give credit. I don't like when people take my shit and don't give me credit for it.
Yeah,
so David, it says follow David. David Medina, right? I think is his name.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, you're right. So this is from David Medina.
Cool.
And we will.
Compromising, this is still not good. This is still not good, and it's unacceptable. And like, how does this happen? Does Pete Hegseth need to resign? I don't think so, because this really wasn't on him. He is the leader, but the person who started this group chat was the staffer of Mike Waltz.
on the like screenshot, it says Mike Waltz created this group, and then Laura Loomer discovered more about the deputy national.
What's the guy, the staffer's name?
Alex Wong. So he's the deputy national security.
So we have Alex Wong, who was very Wong for starting this group chat. Sorry, I had to. He was really he was Wong, right? For starting this thing, and he is the one that started this group chat. And wait till you hear more about who this dude is married to. You might.
So just pause very quickly. So we talked yesterday. We were like, head's got to roll. There's got to be someone thrown under the bus, and it appears it's Alex Wong. He's the designated.
Love the joke though.
Yeah,
Alex was Wong. And guys, if you start
researching,
if you research Alex Wong, like I did this morning, the first thing that comes up is an Asian professional dancer with like 4 million followers between TikTok and Instagram. I'm like, how the fuck did that guy become a staffer? And it was just racist of me to assume that Asian people all look alike. It's not the same Alex Wong. They're two different people. So if you do research, obviously he's not the dancer guy. Just saying.
Yeah. Jason says, I hope Gabbard does not have to fall on her sword. National intelligence is not the primary watchdog here. Trump has to flip a coin. Heads Waltz, tails Hegseth. Yeah, I mean, I think we all agree, or at least me and you, Jason. I'd like to see. I don't particularly think he's a great pick. I certainly think Gabbard Tulsi is. I think she's pretty safe in this. I don't think anyone's. I haven't heard anything trying to throw her under the bus. Hegseth seems like if there is going to be someone who's
if it ain't Wong, it ain't white.
It ain't white.
You're so fucking racist, Jason.
So yeah, I mean, if you know how power works, I think I would have been pretty surprised to see even Hegseth go. Usually it's the low level staffer, like we said the other day with Jason. They call you in, shake your hand, buddy. It's up. You're on the block today. You got to take one from the team. Trust me, you'll be all right. You get the golden parachute. You get the consultant job, whatever. But yeah, that's how this shit works. But we'll see.
Be like, okay, this might have been on purpose, because that's where I'm kind of starting to think right now. Alex Wong, the Chinese deputy national security advisor appointed by President Trump, who was at the center of the SignalGate scandal. Remember, this is Mike Waltz, national security advisor's deputy chief, is married. Listen to this: is married to the U.S. attorney Candace Xu Wang, a Chinese woman. Why did I say that in a Chinese accent? Xu Wang, Xu Wang, a Chinese woman who was one of the key attorneys involved in prosecuting J6ers. What? How do we let someone in our White House? Does Trump have a vetting problem again? How do we allow someone that is married? Like, dude, Alex Wong was appointed by President Trump on 11/22/24 to serve as the assistant to the president. Thank God for Laura Loomer, man. And the principal deputy national security advisor under Mike Waltz, the newly appointed U.S. national security advisor. I have discovered that Alex's wife, Candace Wong, oh my gosh, no way her name is Candace Wong. Candace Wong work under the Obama administration. Gosh, we are like 4 years old. Work under the Obama administration and the Biden administration as an assistant United States attorney in the United States Attorney's Office for the District of Columbia. We made a guy our national security advisor who is married to a literal anti-MAGA person. Like, what? Judge James Boasberg, the guy who just blocked and had it reversed, by the way, President Trump from deporting Trende Aragua gang members, was just assigned to the SignalGate lawsuit. How convenient.
Interesting, isn't it? This just, when I saw this video this morning, I'm like, wow, Jason was probably right about something. And, you know, big ups to Dave Medina. I didn't know who he was until this morning. I actually like his video, and I love the Wong joke. Like this for sure, we're going to recycle this joke because Alex was Wong.
Just funky Dave Medina. What is that from? It's a movie. I'm sure Joe will tell me. Is it maybe like the very first Ace Ventura or something? I feel like it's something like
knowing how old Joe is, it probably before I was born. So
yeah. How old is Joe? Joe, if you wanna, is that's you in the picture? You look like a sharp guy. You look like a young fella. Nice hair. I wish I had still some of that. Fuck, I wish I had hair like that in my 20s. Jason, one big happy family. Correct.
So Jason, that video was for you. I thought it was hilarious when I saw it this morning, and it seems to indicate that there's something else going on. I'm not a fan of Laura Loomer, nor do I have anything against her. I just saw what she posted as information, as reporting something. But there's a guy that commented something. You know DC Drano? You know that guy, right?
Yeah, DC Drano, yeah.
He posted, and again, I follow people from all spheres of politics, but he's like, is it possible that Laura Loomer found something before the FBI or CIA did? And I thought it was hilarious. I'm like, she found something before the CIA/FBI? Just a funny little job right there.
I mean, some of these, like, you know, at-home detectives, like investigators, like they do some pretty incredible work. Like you've seen, like some of these.
But hold on, she's not alone. Like, hold on here. She's not like you and I, a two-man show doing everything.
I'm not even talking about her specifically. I'm just saying it's not that crazy that, you know, people, you know, can figure stuff out that the authorities don't. So do we go to the Kash Patel clip next? Kash Patel gets into heated debate. Is that also connected to
140? SignalGate? Well, yeah, it is in a point, because yesterday there was a hearing that Kash Patel was part of, and one of the Democrat representative was going at him, asking him questions about SignalGate. And I found it funny I liked the way he handled himself.
Okay.
But I'd be curious to see what you think about it. So go for it.
Okay. So this is that clip right here. There we go.
I like Kash Patel. I gotta say, I didn't know him before. Starting to like him.
He's certainly not given me any reason to not like him. You know, same thing. Say I didn't really know much about him. Again, I'm doing that thing where I don't, you know, I'm just gonna judge everybody on what I see. I'm not really interested in you know, what media tells me someone is. And I have no reason to think anything there's any major issues there, but let's see what he says.
Another day has passed.
Actually, it was the night before the hearing.
Now that another day has passed, do you believe that it's now time potentially for the FBI to open an investigation into this?
I'm not going to comment on that.
Because you're the director of the FBI, you don't believe it's appropriate to comment on that?
Because there's a process in place, there's an ongoing litigation, and the National Security Council is reviewing this matter. And I'm not going to discuss any open or closed investigation.
That ongoing investigation, literally, the lawsuit happened today or yesterday afternoon, and the idea that you don't have an opinion on this at this point is frustrating to me.
No, it's not. I'm not going to prejudge any matters, and the men and women of the FBI will call the balls and strikes.
Reclaiming my time,
not
sir.
you.
Sir, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to have...
Gentleman's recognized. You have
Thank
4
you.
seconds remaining.
No, I have more than
You have
that.
2 seconds remaining.
Patel would not acknowledge
Gentlewoman's
me.
time has expired. Mr. Stubbe.
And, you know, when you look at this, you know what really, really bothers me is that the woman asked a question without ever letting him answer. While he was super polite, he's just saying, hey, there's an ongoing investigation right now. I'm not gonna put my 2 cents in there because it's happening as we speak. And just for the people out there, I actually did some research, and what Patel was talking about is that there is an ongoing response to the Signal controversy. There's been a lawsuit filed by American Oversight, an organization that claims the Trump administration officials involved in the Signal chat violated the Federal Record Act, as in, you know, if you have your .gov, it's, I think you were talking about that yesterday. If you have if you work for the government, you have a .gov address. There's a reason why those are ran by the government, because they need to be saved somewhere so that we can, as journalists, reporters, commentators, get access to it. So this is what Patel was talking about. I absolutely love the way he handled it. He's just like, listen, there's an ongoing investigation. I'm not going to participate. I can't answer your question because there's something going on right now. Yet she never gave him the chance to really answer it, just started cutting him off and then complain to the guy in the back and, hey, give me my time back. Give me. Yeah, no, you're done.
Well, so many of these hearings are just designed to create, you know, little sound bites by the politicians that they can cut up and send to their supporters, say, look how hard we are. And yeah, I think it's a bit silly. None of them seem to be designed to get towards the truth. But yeah,
but I like his calm. I like Patel's calm.
Yeah.
He just dealt with it. He didn't seem offended, didn't seem pissed off. He's just, this is what's going on. I can't talk about this right now, but yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Yeah. I thought that was decent. Just an update on what we were talking about earlier. I did find that article, that the op-ed that Tufts. No, and I mean, if you know, obviously, credit where it's due. There was nothing in it that I saw that was anything. It was mostly just talking about, you know, Palestinian issues and blah blah, and that's fine. And if that is all it is, then I will agree that this was not correct. But of course, you know, yeah. So I mean, there's no debate there. But that's like saying, like, well, I mean, O.J. Simpson like definitely didn't murder anyone on June 11th. So, you know, like, because, you know, the fact that you didn't do something somewhere else once, I'm not sure that this is. I don't think this is what the administration is saying. I think this is just something that Chris Hayes took and is assuming, I guess, that that's what they're going after. But I think we can all agree if that's all it is, then sure.
There's a problem. There's a problem. We agree.
Then this is the process, and we will definitely stay on top of it. Cash Patel, Jason says, has a rep for being a straight shooter. Both sides know what they have. Yeah.
I like him.
And yeah, so far so good. I haven't seen. He seems like a smart guy, and I do like how he addressed that.
Handles himself like he seems to be very cool, calm, and collected. As per what I've seen up to now, he's just straight shooter. I think is a perfect way to describe him, at least right now.
Yeah, exactly. And all we can ever do is assess people on what they do. I think the problem comes when people just make assumptions like, oh, he's a Republican, therefore he's this, or oh, they're a Democrat, therefore they're that. And, you know, obviously that's something we stay away from on the show. But and I think, you know, I think that's why the show is what it is. So what are we at next? We got 15 minutes, and we can even go 10 or 15 over if we want.
We should be able to keep it at 2 hours. It's impressive.
We got Mark Carney.
There's two Mark Carney. There's one Mark Carney. But I definitely want that. I made sure we had enough time for that.
Okay.
So there's one that's called Mark Carney Question, and the other one is Mark Carney Conspiracy Theory, or the two videos you should have.
No, there's definitely only one Mark Carney. Do you want me to?
Which one is it? Which one is
Mark
the one
Carney
you have? What is it called?
Theory.
Okay, so that's the second one. Okay. Hold on. Can I?
You want to just quickly upload it? I can.
Because it's a super short. No, but I should be able to upload it directly here.
Okay.
It's a super short video. It's only 18 seconds. But it's something to put a bit of context to it. I don't know if you guys saw that, and that's a question for the Canadians out there, or even the Americans that are following Canadian politics. Have you seen any reference up to now of Mark Carney and Epstein? Because there's a lot of comments that have been made that he was friends with Maxwell. And yesterday, there's somebody at one of his rallies that kind of asked him a question, and you can see it right now. I believe the video should be loading now.
Yeah, all right. And I'll just take this question.
On it, Mom.
You want to rewind that?
Yeah, I'll rewind that. I'm just going to take Jason's question here real quick. OJ is such a wild comparison. If she was in a Ford Bronco screaming, "Where's Mexico?" then I'm good. Come on. Yeah, okay. Like the point was, just because it's proven you did not commit a crime on Monday has no relevance to if you committed a crime on Tuesday. That's all my point, right? The fact that she has an op-ed that there wasn't any issues. And my point is just, if that is all that they have, then I agree with you that it's not right. So I mean, we'll come out and we'll see. We'll wait.
Jason, let's be honest here. That's the only black guy he could think about putting accusations towards. So that's why he used it. It's a soft spot. It was probably a jab at you too, Jason. Just saying. I'm an instigator. Remember that. I'm seeing all I saw is Rob digging at you, and then we can play a video and not have you answer it.
Yeah. Come on, the Bronco joke. Yeah. I feel like that's the main reason he said it for sure. That is a good one.
Course.
Where's Mexico? All right. Jason says Epstein, let's go. Grabs the popcorn, and I think that that's probably the general consensus here. Let me rewind this. This is actually the first time I heard the comparison.
Oh, so the video, that's for you, bro.
Hold on. Is it loading or something? It seems to be. Oh, is that you doing that?
No, I'm not doing it.
On ne reconnaît pas les peuples autochtones.
How many kids did you molest with Jeffrey Epstein?
Let me rewind that.
Hello.
Hi-oh.
Yep.
All right. Jason. Oh, snap.
Are you rewinding this?
It's at the beginning. The blue bar's filling up. It's almost there, but it's weird how it's just very slow when
I don't know, man. Either way, it was pretty clear. If you guys, basically, there's a guy in the audience that screamed at Mark Carney asking. There you go.
How many kids did you molest with Jeffrey Epstein?
Even the crowd is like loving it. It's so funny.
And he did not really fight the answer. You can tell he looked around as in, who's gonna save me from this one? Because if I'm not mistaken, he was the guy that asked the question was kicked out.
Yeah. Yeah. They were kicking that guy the fuck out.
But see how he laughed? He wasn't insulted by it. He just turned around as in, okay, guys, like, what the fuck, help me out here.
Yeah.
But the reason this happened is because there's been allegations, and if you go on X, because it's about one of the only places that you can post this without getting in trouble, there's a lot of things where people are saying that Mark Carney knew Maxwell, the handler of Jeffrey Epstein. There's a bunch of pictures that were taken together. There's, the documents that the Trump's administration released on Epstein, the one that was literally blackened line by line by line. Supposedly there's references of Mark Carney in that document, and the fact that Mark Carney is good friends with Prince which one is it? Is it Prince is it Prince Robert?
Andrew.
No, it's not. Yes, Prince Andrew. They're very good friends, so there's kind of connections that people are making. And because I'm a conspiracy theorist and I need to broaden you guys' horizon, there's a video, if you want to play the other video, which is a content creator I follow on Instagram. That dude's a beast. He always makes those videos, but you'll see. Am I saying that it's true or it's not? YouTube, this is entertainment purposes.
Yes.
I'm just putting it out there that I enjoyed that video because he did make some correlations between Carney and Epstein. And I just needed somebody like yesterday to call Carney out loud like that so that I could play conspiracy videos. So I'm just responding to the news at this point. I'm innocent in this story.
All right. Just the innocent bystander. Jason says, is it weird to ask? Can you play it one more time?
Go for it. If you want to play it again, go for it, man.
Once more.
One more time for Jason.
One more time.
Oh.
Man, this, yeah, it's really... Okay, there it is.
On it, Mark.
Man, it's going
Very
really
strange.
slow. Yeah, really slow. I maybe because you uploaded on your end. That's fine. We'll just go right to the other one. But yeah, that's out there. I saw that on X. I thought that was really funny. So here,
just remove it. Just remove it from there.
Is it? There we go.
Yeah, just completely remove it from there.
Yeah.
Remove from studio altogether. Yeah. If you click on the burger menu. Let me get. It's okay.
Okay.
I'll do it.
Oh, I think you had to do it because. Yeah, gotcha.
Oh, because I added it. That's possible.
That's right.
I'll play the real one I wanted to play because this was just an introduction to this one. So again, somebody in the crowd at one of Mark Carney's rally yesterday asked him how many children did he
molest
enjoy their I was actually trying to be
good
here.
I'm like just dropping it out there.
So
how many kids? Yeah, exactly. You know what? Before I get us in even more trouble, just play it. All right. I just very quickly. Prairie says MCGA channel is the guy who said it. He was assaulted there as well. He's going to drop his full vid tonight. So yeah, that'll be funny.
Oh, that's awesome.
That'll be
which one? The one where he was assaulted, or the question?
Probably the whole thing would be what he said
as
well as the assault. All right. So here is the Mark Carney conspiracy theory video.
I'm gonna blow your mind.
But that is Jeffrey Epstein's contact book. And if you're in that book, you have met the individual. So when Mark Carney is playing it off like he has no relationship, never met her, never met Jeffrey Epstein, that is an outright lie. And this confirms it because his wife's number is in the book. His sister-in-law's number is in the book. His ex-brother-in-law's number is in the book. The wilderness party where he went to, Cornbury Park, is in the book. So it's not just a photo and a far reach to try and link them together. This is a direct link. So although I've been sitting on this information for quite a time, like I'm saying years, I never thought to look for this name because I didn't care about Mark Carney then. He wasn't running for prime minister of my country. But now that he is, and people asked me to do some research, I dug deep. And then somebody reached out to me and said, guess whose name is in the book? I said, no way.
Canada's #1 investigator right there. Wow. In the next debate, the question needs to be, Mark Carney, why is your name, your wife's name, your phone number, your sister-in-law's name, your ex-brother-in-law, why are they all in Jeffrey Epstein's contact book in the same park where there was pictures of all of you together? And how many other times have you met him? I'm going to blow your mind.
All right, let me remove this here. Yeah, I mean, it's certainly worth investigating. It's worth asking, like, why would hold on, I don't know why it did that. I don't know why would his wife's name be in there? Do they, like, if you're going to tell me that he's out there molesting kids with his wife, I don't know.
Well, what's wrong about that? You don't remember Homolka? They even murdered her own sister.
Yeah. I remember.
So I'm not saying that this happened, but it leaves a door open to, there seems to be questions that need to be answered. And I don't see Pierre Poliev touching that one with a 10-foot pole because they all work for the same people. So I don't see them asking the hard questions. It's the same reason why even in the US, the documents are highly, highly, highly hidden. Like they're literally, as you could see that video, it's black and black and black and black and like they
No,
don't
now
want
that
to show you
where's
what's
that
in
coming
there, right?
from? Like, is that for sure? Like that is Epstein's book, and that's a page from it.
Yeah, that was released. That page was released as part of the Trump administration Epstein release that they did a couple of weeks ago. This is where that came from.
Okay, I see. Well, I mean, it's certainly enough to ask questions. Like, yeah, it's funny. It's funny, how like almost so many famous and well-connected people are all connected to this guy. I don't know how. There's no way that guy committed suicide, man. Come on, you know what I mean? Like that.
No,
can't.
He did 2 bullets in the back of the head.
Oh yes, correct.
He
YouTube. He definitely did. He absolutely did. Yeah,
yep,
100%. Exactly. With his hands tied behind his back, 2 bullets in the back of the head. Yeah, no, that's too funny. So, I mean, what do you think? We got, do you want to grab some of the, I mean, I guess I feel like I know your take on that. Or do you think that he's definitely, or do you think it's just worth investigating? Do you I don't think anything should be off limits. Like if you tell me I can investigate something, that in itself is making me very skeptical. Right. But
it's one of those situations, and this I've made this point before, and I'll make it again because I'll always make it on situations like this one. He is highly, like Carney, is highly connected to people that have been connected to Epstein directly, like Prince Andrew. Like this is not a secret. That dude literally has been in hiding ever since Epstein ever since he got connected to Epstein. So this is not a conspiracy theory. No. So, as the example that I use about the police officers, does that mean that you're as a police officer, do I automatically assume that you are corrupt? No. I know police officers that I know for a fact are not. But at the same time, I know they know who's corrupt. And if they were held to the same standard as you and I, if I commit a murder and you know about it, I get caught, I rat you out, guess what? You're accessory to murder. They don't seem to be held responsible even though they know. So am I saying that Mark Carney knew what was going on at Epstein? I'd be ready to put my hand on top of fire saying that he did. Does that mean he participated? No. But if I would be held responsible or accountable for just knowing and not saying, he should be held accountable as well. But man, with the amount of powerful people that are part of that book, it is never gonna fucking happen. We will never know to which extent this went, because in my humble opinion, Epstein, just like the diddler, are level or medium level guys. They're not the head at the top of this. They're just the guys that are supposed to get caught when it gets too bad, and then they all commit suicide, right?
Yeah, of course they do. All of them.
But it's a coincidence. It's a coincidence, right? They're depressed in prison and then they kill themselves. Obviously, YouTube, this is all a coincidence. There's nothing real about what I'm saying. I'm just trying to be funny.
No, but what you're saying, it's hard to disagree with. Like, even if you were like, if it's proved that there's like a strong enough connection there to say that, like, you and your wife are spending a lot of time with this guy, even if you yourself are not diddling kids, there, it raised some serious questions about your judgment and your character, I think. So I think that's all
my
valid.
point.
I think it's all valid. Jason, YouTube is like, go ahead. Say it. Come on.
Say it.
we won't be in trouble.
Zing.
And then you just
zing. Yep.
Man.
But I like Jason's second comment because he's absolutely right about this.
The Brits are smart. Their 2 choices are go hide for a minute, or 2, come clean. What they do not want to do is go on a liar's tour, learn from the Brits. Yeah, you're right. You really haven't heard anything from Andrew. He just said, I'm just going to disappear for a little while. And when he comes back out in 5-10 years, he's hoping
those kids are all going to be adults and they're going to have forgotten. Oh.
Yeah. But yeah. I mean, it's like you said, no point in going on the liar's tour. Don't go out and say things that everybody knows is a lie. It's kind of like what we were ripping on Trump about before yesterday, right? Like, don't go out and like there's no point in going out and ripping on the fake news about that story, because we know it actually happened, right? Like, just take it on the chin. Don't lie to, don't insult people's intelligence. It is just the gist of it, is the moral of the story.
I think the Brits are better at dealing with what we call damage control. Just to say, you know what, let's step back here. Let's go into hiding, step back. Let's see what we can do. And lying is never the right answer. You might as well shut the fuck up and hide in a basement. Well, in the case of Prince Andrew, he ain't hiding in a basement anywhere. He's hiding in a very comfortable place. But yeah, stay out of the public eye for a couple of years and people will forget, because that's what people do. There's too much information out there. We can't remember what happened 2 weeks ago, let alone 2 years, 3 years, 4 years ago.
Well, that's a good point. And I think in a lot of ways, they kind of rely on that stuff, right?
Of course.
It's just an information overload. And how can anyone ever even hope to know what's going on with all of this stuff thrown at us? Just before we go, I want to show you something interesting. And you guys can, it fits well within the conspiracy theory. And it's about Mark Carney. It's something my brother sent me yesterday. Yeah.
So the dungeon and no,
the other one.
Not the Dungeon Master guy?
Yeah, it's not the Dungeons and Dragons YouTuber. This guy is the other one.
That's a guy from Alberta. That's a guy from Alberta you're talking about?
Yeah, my older brother. So if you guys, can you guys see this?
The most intelligent one in your family?
The handsome intelligent one. I told he watches the show regular. He's like, man, I'd love to come on with you guys. So I was like, yeah, maybe someday we'll have you on.
Maybe when you're good enough, bro. Maybe when you're good enough.
When you are ready to play with the big boys. He's a smart guy though. He would actually he would be good. Just shoot shit for a bit. So if you can see this, he says, in case you didn't know this, and he's not really conspiratorial. And it's not even a conspiracy theory in and of itself. It's just a really interesting connection. So Margaret Trudeau is Justin Trudeau's mother. Margaret Trudeau remarried and had 2 children with Fred Kemper. Fred Kemper is the owner of a realty and brokerage firm. Fred Kemper's sister is Verley Kemper. Verley Kemper had a son named Mark Carney. Mark Carney just took over of the prime minister from Justin Trudeau, and Mark Carney is the godfather of Chrystia Freeland's son. So it's not a conspiracy theory in the sense that it's not suggesting any wrongdoing, but it's a very almost incestuous relationship going on here. With politics at the highest level of government. Like, that's a very interesting coincidence almost. Like, what and where is the connection here? And you've spoken before about sort of Carney being behind Trudeau and a lot of, he's clearly been a very close person. Yeah, so it's almost like they're treating the prime ministership as a sort of family asset or something, like it's theirs to just give to their buddies. And I find that a bit disturbing. And I don't know if there's any there in terms of wrongdoing, but I just think it's just crazy when you really dig down into this. And I can understand how a lot of the conspiracy theories have legs, because you dig down and you're just like, fuck, it's really just a small group of people running shit at the end of the day. You know what I mean? They're all just passing power back and forth to each other.
If you go, there's a great video out there of a young woman. She must have been 12 years old or something like that, and I think she spent a summer doing the research, but she made a video explaining how every single president of the United States outside of one are all related. They all fall back to a very specific king of England, every single one of them. It was insane. Like, looking at the video, I'm like, if this is true, that means that every single descendant of that, every single president outside of one, and I can't remember what it was. It was one from a long time ago. It's not a Donald Trump or an Obama, but she found a connection to that king, to every single president outside of one. I believe so. It needs to be looked, but is it that far-fetched considering the amount of money that he has? And he wasn't poor, right? As much as Trump wasn't given billions of dollars, as far as I know, he was never poor. And remember what Jason was saying yesterday, that something like 35% of big money is generational. So is it that surprising that they know each other, that they all were? I'm not saying that they necessarily agree with each other, but is it far-fetched to believe that they've met each other? That's why, going back to Epstein, when a guy's worth hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars on an island, has a private jet that's going all over the place, he's going to meet a lot of powerful friends, right? He's going to make some powerful friends.
Well, and I think I'm sure you know this, but I think a lot of people are surprised. Like, no one really knows how Jeff Epstein made his money. Like, there was no obvious, like, it wasn't like he was a famous banker or like financier. He just sort of showed up. I think he used to be like a teacher in like a private school in New York or something like 30 years ago. And then he sort of drifted over to Wall Street, and he did have a job at Goldman Sachs, but it's like as a VP or something, nothing that would give you billions of dollars. And then he just sort of appeared on the scene with billions of dollars and this very, very thick Rolodex of high profile connections. And it's like, Jesus Christ. Like, again, I'm not conspiratorial, but stuff like that makes you really wonder, like, fuck, what's
what
really
happened?
going on?
What I think happened, and this is just a theory.
Mm-hmm.
He's very good friends with Nancy Pelosi, and she taught him how to invest his money properly. So that's how he probably made money.
Well, first you gotta do 5 minutes of research, then get elected Speaker of the House, and then you just use all the information that you use to do insider training and illegally front run. But yeah, no, I agree.
There you go.
I mean, clearly YouTube, I'm joking. She is absolutely the best investor that has been in the history of investing. So we're just a bunch of yahoos talking shit. We're just a bunch of yahoos talking
We're
shit.
just jealous. We're just jealous.
Yes, we are. I mean, I am. Not really, but I mean, I wouldn't mind a quarter of a bill for just basically doing nothing. It's to be able to turn your $200,000 a year job into $250 million. I mean, that's impressive, man. Yeah,
again,
Jason
she is the best investors of all time. She is the best investor, no question.
Due to the Epstein was a math teacher at the Dalton School, private school for 12 grades. Like, literally, that's what he was. He wasn't like a billionaire who was just slumming it. He was just a teacher, and then he kind of disappeared for a bit. Showed up on Wall Street with, again, I don't know exactly, but it wasn't anything kind of job that might give you a good living, like maybe millionaire, sure, but like nothing like the wealth that he had. And then all of a sudden just turned into one of the world's, premier financiers. Of course, it's
just a coincidence, man. It's all a coincidence. He deserved it all. Obviously. Just like Nancy Pelosi.
I think it's pretty clear his business was blackmail, right? Like that's I don't even think that's a conspiracy theory, is it? Like, I think everyone understands that. If you see, we'll leave it at that because I should run, but this is a hole that I don't want to go into. Cool. All
But
good.
for the people out there, there's 2 paintings that you guys should go check out online for some pictures. Go see that. Those are 2 paintings that were found on Epstein's Island. One is of Bill Clinton in a dress, and the second one is of George W. Bush, the son, playing with Jenga towers, holding a paper plane in his hand. That's all I'm gonna say. Though there's 2 pictures that Epstein. So you're talking about really weird shit.
Okay.
He had a painting of Bill Clinton in a dress, and if I remember correctly, he was in the Oval Office, and another one of George W. Bush with a paper airplane and 2 Jenga towers destroyed and fell on the side. Just saying. But this is all a coincidence. It has nothing to do with anything. Obviously, it's fake. It's not real.
We'll check that out. Jason says, by the way, there's a sex scandal at that school too. You can't make this shit up. No, reality is stranger than fiction sometimes.
No, but hold on, Jason. Epstein was a good dude. It's not. He was a beautiful dude. That's not his fault if a woman threw herself at him and abused him.
How can he be expected to? He's only a man.
Being that good looking, bro, of course women are throwing themselves at him.
Talking about midges.
Is it really a sex scandal when a woman throws himself at a good looking guy like Epstein?
Exactly.
Come on, Jason.
Just
stop with your conspiracies.
Pure charisma. So guys and girls, again, we thank you so much for being here. You could have been anywhere in the world but you chose to be here with us today, and we can't tell you how much we appreciate that. Jason, love you, brother. Joe, thanks for the great chat. You guys, like, again, the show, really, you guys make it here for us. As you can see today, we don't always agree, but when we disagree, we do it respectfully. And everyone's argument here is valid, as long as or everyone's argument is assessed on the merits of the argument. There's no sacred cows here. We just want to get to the bottom of it, and I think this episode showed exactly how we do things, and I think that's one of the big strengths of that show, and that's exactly from you guys. Again, thank you so much for being here, for engaging. Sorry, there have been a little bit of a technical difficulties this week, just because Nico's literally in the middle of a move. The fact that we're able to even bring the show at all, I think, shows you guys how committed we are to the show, and we really appreciate you guys sticking through us for that. We will not be here tomorrow because Nico's got he's actually going on, and I'll throw it to you here in a second, Nico, maybe even if you want to do a shout out there, but he's going on a fairly large podcast. Is that your buddy? That's a good friend of yours, is it?
It's a guy I've met multiple times. I wouldn't call him my buddy yet. He's not like, he's a guy I've created content with, but it's Nick Kumalatsos, if you guys know. Ex-Navy SEALs, has a massive audience on all platforms. I'm going to North Carolina. I'll be there tonight, actually. And we're going to record a podcast together. I'll be on his show. He'll be on mine. So, yeah.
Cool.
I'll promote this show.
I'll
promote this. That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, so, and just, I mean, like, you're on the road. It'll starting next week. We're back to normal. Nico's going to be back in a safe
on Tuesday.
On
Monday, I'll be on the road again because I have to go through my wife's pregnant. We can't drive more than 4 or 5 hours a day, right?
Sure. Okay, but we will be here Monday. We'll just have one more day where we kind of got to wing it, and then it's all back to normal. Guys, thank you so much again. So you guys have an excellent weekend. Nico, is there anything you want to add to that?
No, thanks for being here. It's always a pleasure speaking to all of you. Thanks for your comments. Jason, you're wrong, but it's okay. We still love you. And that's it. That's what happens when you're not on the show, bro. I get to finish with a dig.
Yeah. You always get that last word.
That's the beauty of being on the show. But I wish you guys a great weekend, and we'll see you on Monday.
Guys, thanks so much. We'll see you on Monday.